Hello, thank you for viewing this. This is your source code walkthrough. So we are inside the scene called main menu, and these are all the 10 levels that were made over here. You can see them. Okay, so we'll go first to take a look at Sound Manager. It's just a prefab which has, well, sound and main camera, and then you've got the UI handler. Now the UI handler, let's take a look at the visual script first. These are the various screens that are in your game, and this is basically just a flow state that doesn't really do anything, but this is just a flow state, and we've got main menu, level selection, shop screen, all of that, character selection. So this visual script is basically handling the going forward and going backwards. That's all it's doing. It's also handling the buttons that are being clicked on the screen. So that's how it works. And you've also got these functions which will actually tell the player which BG button was clicked or background button was clicked. This is the entire visual script for basically handling the flow of the menus. It's nothing more than that. Other than that, you've got these are the turning character selection screen on, turning character selection screen off. So in all of these units or flow states, you've got these small units or small blocks which are actually handling the activation and deactivation of all of these menus that are on your screen, which is basically this screen. So that's what's doing. We've got two scripts attached to it. One is the UI handler, which is actually handling the keys as well as what object is selected and what object is not selected. So we've got a string which will actually be used for the key to store which level was selected, and then we've got player coins and player gems here. That's the key for that. We've got a player tanks key over here. We've got rewarded video point placement ID. I'm not using it, I just put it over there. It's actually used in another script. I'm not using this, so this code I'm not using. Okay, we have got text objects here, text mesh pro objects here, which are useful for showing information on the screen. Then we have got these are the corrector locked images, corrector screen other buttons. We've got those. Settings menu, region is here, level selection region is here. We've got all of the level selection stars here. We've got the integers for those as well as the keys here. So we set the keys in start, which is nothing other than setting the keys. Then we've got fixed update. We've got a player coins and gems. So over here we are handling the player coins and gems. Over here you can actually see a function to update the player's inventory, so that's done here. Over here we are selecting the character that is on screen, and we've got character unlock functions over here. Then we've got the character click function, so this is going to actually help the game load the character that was clicked on the UI. Then we've got check gems, so this is a function to check whether or not the player actually has gems to purchase the character that he or she wants to unlock. Then we've got character screen left button clicked and the character screen right button clicked for the various character on screen functions, which is here. So anyway, we've got show not enough gems, which basically shows when you don't have enough gems to buy a character, this code will run. Then we've got show rewarded videos. These functions not running inside this script. Then we've also have the on destroy function. Then we've got add regions again. This is not being used. So then we've got IAP. This is being used. This is for the IAPs. So the IAPs are being handled over here. So once you actually get a rewarded video, show a rewarded video, these are the functions that will run. However, they're not being used in this script, they're being used in another script. This is the big function to unlock the levels. So whenever a level is unlocked, this function runs. and then this function runs the level stars handler, so you can actually see the stars being displayed on the screen. Then we've got a show stars, so this is going to actually show the stars. So the first we unlock the stars and then we show the stars in this function. So that's how it's written. So we'll go over to the other watch video handler, which is over here. So we have it here, and over here you can see that I've inserted your ID. This is for iOS, so since I'm not handling iOS, this has to be done by the iOS porter, and this is the rewarded video. So it's basically very easy to understand. We can reward 250 coins, we can reward 25 gems, we can reward 1 tank based on the click that a person has clicked. So if he has clicked this button, then the reward for that button will actually be given to the player. So this is just a reward video script. Other than that, we've got main menu, all of the objects to handle the screens are here, so you can see that these are all of the screens. This is the shop screen, these are all of those. So once we're done with this, we can actually go ahead to one level, because it's generally speaking the same for all levels, the code. So first we're going to take a look at game setup, which is basically going to set up the level so that the player can play. So over here the state screen have been set up, so whether it's the game over screen or the level complete screen, these are over there. We've got score states, which is over here. We've got state controls and instance, which is here. Then we've got characters in game, which is here. This is basically responsible for loading the correct character which the player selected, and this is the load character function, which is going to load the character that the player selected. We've got a game over function over here, which is basically going to call the game over functions. This is basically for a function that runs when the game is over. It is with its IEnumerator, so this is the IEnumerator with that. Then we've got level complete function, so this will actually call the level complete function. This will call the level game over function. So we've got two screens, level game, the game over and the level complete screen. This is being handled over here. It also has an instance, if in case you didn't see it, that there's an instance of this over here as well. Yeah, there it is. There's the instance. So the instance is actually going to be this script, and this instance is going to let this script be the functions of the script being called anywhere. So that's the thing. Then we've got sound manager, which is again a sound manager. We've got main camera. We've got some scripts here. These are generic scripts. You can still take a look at them. It's just a follow script, a very straightforward. It's available online. It's nothing too fancy. It's just a follow script, so that's it. So other than that, we've got a limit colliders over here. We have a collider, which is basically handling the level complete function. So here are the level complete function, and this is a very big function. But in order to not get into a lot of in order to keep things simple, this function is basically checking which build index this scene has, and then it simply unlocks those stars that the player gains. So there is a small calculation. If the player completes a level within a certain amount of time, he gets 3 stars. If he completes it in another amount of time, he gets 2 stars. This on trigger enter is basically handling that. So once this collider collides with the player, these functions will run, and this is all for handling the stars. That's basically it. So other than that, you've got call game over, and then you've got level time countdown. So that's basically it. By the way, this entire thing, it's best if the developers do not touch this because it's been coded. But if in the future you want to add more levels, they have to be handled over here. So for every build index or every level, this has to be handled. So we've got 10 levels, so we have handled it till 10. If we want to add more, this has to be copy pasted, and values have to be changed, and new keys have to be added, which of course isn't the case over here because we've got 10 levels. Other than that, we have the bike controller, the sports car controller. I should switch that off. Anyway, so the sports car controller is here. We're going to take a look at that. This is the car controller function. We'll open that, and this is a very simple function, which is basically just rotating these wheels, and because the wheels have friction, the car moves. Other than that, we are also handling the UI that is associated with this game object inside this function. This is for the handling the RPM, and this is for handling the boost. So then we've got handling sound over here. We've got buttons to control the character. So these are all the buttons to control the character. This script doesn't really need to be changed. It can be added on any game object. The only thing that the developer needs to understand is that this is a wheel joint. This is a link to wheel joint, so he'll have to set this up just the way I set it up. So that's the thing. Other than that, we've got scene variables, and there's not really much else except for this pause menu, which has a script. Basically, it's very self-explanatory. It's just a small script, visual script that is handling the buttons that are on the pause menu, and that's it. That's the source code. That's the source code of your game.